The newly minted number one team in the country, according to the Associated Press, the Arizona Wildcats get a decisive victory over Auburn at home, 97 to 68, a blowout victory where everything went right for Arizona in this basketball game. They played all the hits in this one. They won the rebounding battle. They shared the basketball, 23 assists to 13 turnovers, where on the other hand, Auburn ends the game with 7 assists to 15 turnovers. They played extremely well defensively, Arizona. They rebounded well. They had, let's see, one, two, three, four, five players in double figures in this basketball game. I'm honestly just a really decisive statement level victory for what, like I said, is the current best team in the country. Connor, you and I both said that Arizona would win this game fairly easily. I don't know if we thought they would roll like this, so I'll throw it to you for your thoughts on this game.
No, I mean it was if you had told me that Tahad Pettiford went 10 of 19 for 30 points and Arizona won by nearly 30 points,
Right.
I would call you crazy. We had comments, they're like, even if they win the point guard battle, Auburn, Arizona still has the horses to win this game, and they certainly did. Um, I think the story of this game for me. And we can talk about Koa Pete, how well good he looked. We can talk about the two bigs and how well they rebounded. Um, I have a lot more confidence now with Braden Burries than I have all season. Right? He had the two good games against Denver and Norfolk State, but they're Denver and Norfolk State. Utah Tech was his only other good game this year. Um, he scored 16 points, 7 of 8 from 2 point range. He wasn't hitting threes, but I think you'll take 16 points on 11 shots and the third highest offensive rating, I think, on the team behind Koa Pete and Delorso.
Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, look, I think that the key to Arizona's like ceiling, right? This is a great basketball team. We talked about what they have in the front court, what they have in their point guard and Jaden Bradley. If they get Burries playing at this level, and then obviously too, they're able to get some contributions from that wing spot with Del Orso and Karchenkev, I think his name is. Um, it's just going to be a really, really tough team to stop. And they play all this, like I said, like rebounded extremely well. They shot the ball well in this game, only 15 3-point attempts. And it's so hard to score against this basketball team. It really is. Like, you look at like the Michigans of the world, like these teams with like these crazy, really good front courts, Duke, even Florida. It's just, it's tough to score against that basketball team. And even if you do, like Auburn had Pettiford go for 30, and you still lost by 30 because Overton was 1 for 8. Elijah Freeman was 1 for 7. Keyshawn Hall was 3 for 11. Magwood 1 for 4. I mean, it was just like without Pettiford, this team would have lost by 60. But obviously, I mean, you take out Pettiford, that's not an argument that you can do. But I'm just trying to speak to the level of dominance that Arizona was able to kind of instill in this game against Auburn. And now like the number two team in the country, Michigan, both those teams have massive victories over Auburn. Before we talk a little bit more about Arizona, can you talk to me about Auburn a little bit as a team? Because it was, I mean, they were around at halftime, down 12 and a half, and then just spiraled after that.
Man, their shooting just sucks. Like Dahad Pettiford was 5 of 9. The rest of the team was 1 for 16.
Yeah.
Dahad Pettiford was 5 of 10 from 2 point range. The rest of the team was 10 for 28. Like it's, and Keyshawn Hall scored 13 points, took a lot of shots to get there.
Hmm.
I think, and this is not a knock on Pettiford, but they rely too much on Pettiford. Like
Hmm.
he has to do everything. And when they go up against any semblance, with the exception of St. John's, like any semblance of like a good front court, I feel like they're just going to get overmatched because Keyshawn Murphy is okay, but okay is not going to win you. Well, maybe this year in the SEC, okay is not going to win you a lot of games in the SEC.
Yeah,
So,
they're very predicated on just like let them go out there and rock, but also at the same time they play. It's not even a team with a front. Honestly, it's a team with front court, and a team with structure. If you have front
yeah,
court and you have structure, I think you can make it happen. Like that game against NC State, Will Wade and them played right in Auburn's hands. They just played like back and forth, you go, I go ball, and they were able to do that better than you at home. When you go on the road against Arizona, or even like in looking at what they're going to do the rest of the season, they won't be able to go on the road to some of these SEC teams and play that level of basketball. They're going to be overmatched.
Yeah, and they still rebounded well offensively. Like they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Um, but you're going up against perhaps the best rebounding team or second best rebounding team in the country in Arizona. So it's and there's not a lot of Arizonas in terms of rebounding, but it's gonna be tough when you go up against some of these teams with the better rebounding bigs to get come away with a poor shooting performance. Like if they don't shoot well against Purdue in 2 weeks, Purdue's gonna keep them off the boards, I think, well enough to win that game. If they don't shoot well, uh Florida's gonna keep them off the boards well enough to win that game. Like you either have to shoot well or you have to be like not super reliant on smaller bigs being an offensive rebounding force. And you also have to look at who they played. Like they lost the rebounding battle against Arizona. They got smoked in the rebounding battle against Michigan. I believe they lost the rebounding battle against Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Like the good teams that are aggressive on the boards, they've lost the rebounding battle. And it's the games against like a Bethune Cookman or a Wofford or a Jackson State where like their rebounding numbers I feel like are pretty inflated.
Yeah,
Um,
and the thing is too, not to cut you off, but like, there's not really a fix for it. Like this is the roster is what it is, right? Like Keyshawn Murphy's their center, he's solid, but like that's, Goss is more of a, I'm sorry, not Goss. I'm thinking Williams Adams is more of like a finesse level type, big wing type play. It's just it makes it extremely tough. It's like you need other guys like Keyshawn Hall to rebound, and he didn't really rebound in this basketball game, and they were just able to get overmatched and out physical. And I think that it's gonna happen to them if they come up against a team like Arizona because Arizona's so good. They are legit in everything that everyone talks about them. Um, I do got to ask you this: is that the best team in the country, or is Michigan the best team in the country?
I think Michigan's high is higher than Arizona's. Like I think Michigan can basically I think Michigan on any given night can dismantle any team in the country. Like
Yeah,
that's
got
how good they are. Uh, but if point guard play wins in March, I think Arizona has a top five point guard in the country. So it's the give and take of like, do you rely on Jaden Bradley steadying the boat and keeping Arizona's floor maybe in March higher, or do you rely on the ceiling? I think because Michigan's been playing at their ceiling or close to it, you have to go Michigan. For me, you have to go Michigan number one. Um, but it seems like every time Michigan has a good game, Arizona comes up with something like this, or vice versa. Like Arizona has probably better wins than Michigan because
it.
they have the road win against UConn. They have the neutral site win against Florida, but the Florida win's not aging as gracefully as we expected it to.
Mm,
UCLA win's not aging as gracefully. Um, but they do have the best win
exactly.
of the between those two teams.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, I can see it. It's gonna be an interesting battle with Arizona. And thing with Arizona is they're lining up a gauntlet of a schedule. I believe they have Bama this Saturday. So,
yep.
and I think they're going to Bama for that game, or at least like a neutral site in Birmingham. I think it is.
Yeah, it's in Birmingham. It's technically, I mean, I think Ken Palm calls it a semi away.
Okay, that
And
makes
no,
sense.
it's not really clear how the net handles that.
Yeah, but it'll basically be a home game for
Yeah.
Bama, who was also a really good team. But man, this if I'm an Arizona fan, I'm feeling great about my basketball team, great about the makeup of it. If I'm Auburn, I'm honestly taking a step back here, and I'm like, I'm just not on the upper echelon of these upper teams in the country, but I'll be able to, you know, make the tournament, have a solid season, and maybe catch somebody in March, right?
Do you, this is what I've been thinking watching Auburn. Because we all knew that Bruce Pearl was like, there were rumblings that he was going to retire. And do you think he knew how like uh, underwhelming this team was
Yes,
beforehand?
yes,
And
and that's why I did
and
this with
that's why he
Greg when I was
stepped down
talking about it.
to get his son a long-term contract. Because
Yes,
if you put his son in there with a 1 year contract with this roster, Auburn's looking for a new coach next year.
exactly. And I thought he saw like if he had last year's roster for this year, he wouldn't have left.
Yeah,
He wouldn't have left. He saw a little bit of like what was going on here and kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and make this happen. But look, they still got Pettiford. They still had talent. They had guys that are had produced that play bad in this game. Keyshawn Hall's been incredible this season. He played bad. Overton's coming off a 20 like 8 point game against NC State. He plays bad. Arizona's going to make your guys look like that because it's not fair all the defensive players they have and all the size they have. It's a tough task to score against that team, right?
it is. It is. And they also benefit. I'm like, I still think they're a top 5 to 6 team in the SEC. Clearly, like it's Vanderbilt, Bama, and then they're Auburn's probably right behind that, like Florida, Tennessee tier.
Right. So
Um,
it's open.
so yeah, it is open, and they'll win a lot of games in SEC play. I don't have my worry about Auburn is not it has nothing to do with their ability to make the tournament or not. It's entirely like what happens when they get there and they have to. It's just Pettiford in a game.
They're going to be
Like, I don't think
watching.
this team could win six.
They're going to be watching the draw closely as anybody because if they get a
Yeah,
bad draw and they get a front court, then you can go ahead and pack it up right away. But
yeah.
this is more about how dominant Arizona is and how good this Arizona team is. They're going to be one to watch for the rest of the season. Very fun team, like fun point guard. If you get Burries along, then you are really cooking with something special here. 23 assists in this game, like I said, to 13 turnovers. Just a flawless victory on a very beautiful court too. Might I add, shout out to Arizona. Love that new court.
And the
Um,
ability to get guys like Awaka and Del Orso to like compete at the level they've been competing at, considering they're both coming off the bench.
right. It's
A
it's
Del
a,
Orso for a freshman.
right. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a perfect vibe and like accumulation of talent, but also like vibes are great. Like I even talked about Michigan with Greg, and I was like, yeah, like you guys got some talented players coming off the bench, but the vibes are just great right now because you're blowing people out, you're having
Yeah.
fun, you're winning games, you're getting a little post game press conference, hitting the motor boys, whatever they do. It's good times right now for Tommy Lloyd down in Arizona, and they got made more tests to come this year, so we'll get to see them a lot this season. And but I think the eyes should be set, or the sight should be set on, making a Final Four. And, honestly, national championship talk should definitely be in the things for Arizona this year. But really good game for them. Like I said, almost a 30-point victory, 29-point victory over Auburn in this basketball game. We will have all types of previews and recaps here for all major college basketball games across the landscape. Be sure to tune in to Sleepers Media YouTube channel for all that.